trained literally for 6 months for this race, and it was from a couch to an Ironman. That's been the story. Mentally, it's very daunting to take up a challenge like this, and it's never a good time if you are working. The fads of these new Ozempic drugs and weight loss drugs, I'm absolutely against any form of unnatural way of wanting to physically look a certain way. Hi guys, I'm Saiyami Kher and you're watching me on HT Health Shots. I feel mental health is something which probably was one of my main reasons for taking on the Ironman, the triathlon. For me, endurance sport is something that I go to every time I'm down and out. Endurance sport is something that just cleans the slate and makes my head in a better space. So for me, the physical aspect of it is not as important as what it does to me mentally, and it just gets me in a better frame of mind. I feel, which is why I decided to take on this very grueling challenge. I think it's actually 60% mental, because if your mind decides to do something, your body follows. Obviously, it follows if you train and put in consistency. I won't say that you can just decide that tomorrow I'm going to go and do this and wake up and do it. Once your mind decides to do something, which is why it took me so long to get back to it, because mentally it's very daunting to take up a challenge like this, and it's never a good time if you are working, if you're a journalist, if you're an actor, if you're a doctor, if you're whatever, you're in a profession where you're working, it's never a good time to take up a marathon or an Ironman, because you need to commit that kind of time to it. um, so for me, mentally, I feel I said that enough is enough. I have to get it done, because with every passing day, I'm just getting older, and it's something that I wanted to do, uh, but I just didn't get to doing it. So mentally, I decided that it has to be done. And then it's just about consistently putting in that time, and I feel anyone can do it. Finding 2 hours in a day can be difficult, but it's definitely not impossible. I'm saying this because I have been working non-stop since Feb. I actually had a break only from the 2nd of July up until the 22nd of July, these 20 days. Otherwise, I've been working non-stop for 12 hours a day. And these 20 days, when I had a break, when I thought I'd train the most, is when I fell ill, because I think my body then just went into this sleep mode. So I feel if you put your mind to it and you're diligent and dedicated, you can manage to achieve the targets. Usually, the long brick sessions are like 6 hours on a Sunday. So it can be done only when I have a off, the long ones. But otherwise, I mean, doing a film and managing 2 hours is really not as difficult as it sounds. It can mentally feel exhausting, but it's not. It's just about finding infrastructure to do it in this city, which we don't have. So I have to kind of train inside and train indoor. So I don't know what I'm in for when I go to Berlin, because my training outdoor has been very little. With regards to my training, I predominantly was a runner for the last 8 years. I took to marathon running in 2016. So the training was vastly different, because I never really enjoyed cycling too much, cycling distance too much. Cycling for leisure was another thing. And swimming is something I've swum since I was 2, 3 years old, but never swum for time. My father was a good swimmer. He taught me how to swim, but I needed to improve on my technique, improve on my swim timing. So obviously every month the training was different, but I've trained literally for 6 months for this race, and from it was from a couch to an Ironman. That's been the story, because I didn't do anything for 8 months before that. So the training was pretty much 3 swim sessions a week, four cycling sessions a week, and 3 run sessions a week. Is what I look at, and in that I get one strength training session, which I should have done two, but I used to do just one strength a week. Sundays used to be usually the break where I cycle, run, and swim. But otherwise, it was a mixture of, one day was a recovery swim, one long cycling session, one speed session for my run, one power session for my cycle. So it was broken down pretty systematically. So I think it's very scientific, very systematic. And when it comes, you talk about scientific, we have to talk about nutrition, because on a Sunday when I'm like burning 3,500 calories, I have to, I end up eating a lot. Like I haven't eaten so much in my whole acting career. I'm constantly hungry and I'm just constantly wanting to eat. What I'm doing currently, 47 days away from the race, is I've just started. Obviously, nutrition changed. I started having a lot more protein than I used to. With egg, not any supplements really, but just a little health. I'd given up sugar, so that I'd given up 1 year ago. I think that helped. But what I'm currently doing is nutrition while training. So when I'm go on my long sessions, I have to get used to having certain amount of hydration, certain amount of carbs, certain amount of sugar. So every hour we need to have a certain amount. So I'm kind of just starting to do that as of yesterday. Well, I'm not sure if I've overcome them yet or not. I think it's probably a struggle every day. I feel insecurities pre-COVID were predominantly where is the career going, what's going to happen with the career. Uh, Also, because as an actor, when you're 24, 25 years old, I think you're getting into that peak commercial time as an actor, right? So insecurities then used to be about career, and then COVID happened, and the career that I've chosen, it was completely shut. Like many careers, of course, but I was very fortunate. I was with my parents in Nasik, so we were at a farmhouse. We cooked, grew our own vegetables, so it was all very comfortable because I was with my parents in Nasik. But the amount of suffering that I probably saw around me took a toll on me personally, very gravely, I feel. And I feel it's happened to a whole lot of people around me. I lost three very close members of my family, which was very sudden. So I feel that took a toll on me for sure. And I'm somebody who was just never used to being in the house the whole time, because I've pretty much been modeling since I was 17, and been out of the house, be it with my as a child with badminton tournaments, when I was a teenager with modeling, then with films and college. So I've been someone who's always been out. So I think being confined in a space for an entire year almost was was difficult. uh, what was the most difficult was, I think, just the uncertainty of how short and small life is, because I was uh, I shared a wall with my aunt and uncle, and my uncle passed away. I was chatting with him across the wall in the evening. He passed away in the night of a cardiac arrest. So I think that really shook me a lot, and it was just the frivolity of life. How it's so momentary, and we tend to forget this so quickly, right? We go back into the rigmarole so easily. We go back into just the negativity, the toxicity, the fights, and just how the world is so quickly that we forget just basic small human relationships, I feel. I'm very close to my school friends, and just I think time not being able to meet them through that process, not knowing whether you will meet a certain person the next day. I think all of that really, really bothered me a lot. So I think it was pretty much that what I was talking about. And then that multiplied by the insecurities as an actor, because life for I don't know. I've always been politically incorrect, but I feel that the Hindi film industry is going through a whole lot of transformation. So one was on the personal front, on the professional front. I think post COVID, we're seeing how now big producers are talking about films not working for big stars and entourage costs, and talking about all these various things. is because society at large changed in a big way during COVID, I feel. And we haven't professionally grappled with that, I feel, to understand how society has changed. Our films are not connecting with audiences for some reason. Audiences are not going into theaters, that is the reality. So I feel all this professionally also is a very insecure space. Uh, so I feel a little refreshing when you see a 12th fail, when you see a Lapata lady's work. You feel like, all right, maybe things are coming back to some normalcy where good stories with a good intent are working. So I feel that that's that positive light which I've seen in the last year. My way to unwind and relax is actually go for a swim and run. There's no better way to unwind and relax because it puts my mind at rest entirely. But if not that, then I really enjoy just spending time with some of my really close friends at home. I'm not somebody who goes out partying ever. Have a nice meal, nice conversation with friends I'm close to, and I feel refreshed and recharged because I am somebody who has very close relationships with close friends, and they might be few, but they mean a lot to me. So just spending time with them, going with my family for a holiday, going for a dive trip, going for a trek, reading a nice Gulzar Saab book, uh, listening to Javed Akhtar talk. I mean, I've tried talking about this quite a few times, is especially younger 20-year-olds and 19-year-olds who are so conscious of the way their body is, because it's that very impressionable age, I feel, when you look up to certain celebrities and you feel that this is how you want to look. One is that don't believe what you see on Instagram. I feel that's something which I try telling as many people as I can. Don't fall for the filtered lives because what you see is not what you get on social media. Not everyone is having the best life. So I feel that you try and aspire to have a certain life which is not true. So I always try and hope that people keep their social media time restricted, especially if it's an impressionable age. And funnily, even 40-year-olds are very impressed. 45-year-olds are very impressionable when it comes to social media. So I feel one is that. Two, I feel is the fads of these new Ozempic drugs and weight loss drugs. I'm absolutely against any form of unnatural way of wanting to physically look a certain way. Uh, it's tough. You need to embrace how you look, but in the long run, you need to see what's better for your body, right? Like you rather be a little plump and be alive than have drugs and medical drugs and not be alive. So I feel try and keep it as much as you can, keep yourself as clean as you can.